Well, hello everyone. It is Thursday once again at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time here inside the Gut Solution. And I am Mauro Salerno, a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner and the founder of the Gut Solution. And I am joined today by my lovely client and friend, Wendy. So I am thrilled that she's here with us so she can share her experience with all of you. And for those of you who are with us live or watching on the replay, let us know where you are. Let us know if you've been struggling with diarrhea or anything going on with your gut in general that you want to see resolved. And let us know where you're coming from, where you are in the world. So, Wendy, welcome.
Thank you. Yeah,
Thanks for being with
fun to
us.
be here.
Yeah. So why don't we start out and you can just kind of share with everyone why you decided to reach out to me. I've known Wendy, by the way, for a very long time. She used to come to my yoga classes and I love her daughter.
Yeah, hi everyone. It's been a really interesting journey, and I have to say, I've always pronounced your name Maral. And then I heard you just call it Marl. That's so interesting after all these years.
Well,
Yeah.
I go by both. I mean, I grew up with everybody calling them Marl, so I'm used to that. But yeah, you traditionally pronounce my name Marl, and it's the
Marl.
story of my life.
Awesome. Well, I did meet Marl on my yoga journey. In fact, I don't know if you know this, but you were the first teacher that I went to any place besides Core Power. And I'd been to Core Power for, I don't know, probably a year, and feeling like there feels like there should be something more to this. And I don't, maybe Drasanna, my daughter, had introduced me to your class. I'm not sure who it was or how I got there, but when I first experienced your class, it's like, whoa, okay, this is more of what I've been looking for. So yeah, I was so sad when you left San Diego, but I've enjoyed kind of following you for a while. And how I got here this time was that I, for over a year, was experiencing something pretty close to diarrhea, never having a well-formed bowel movement. I didn't feel any physical discomfort, but I thought this is not normal. This is not good. And when it persisted for so long, and I'd had several different tests from doctors and colonoscopies and everything ruling out, severe stuff. I thought there's got to be an answer to this. And I kind of related it back to, it started shortly after my second COVID shot, which made me suspect that maybe there was some interaction there that was creating this issue. But anyway, reached out and had noticed Marl's Gut Solution communications coming over through social media, etc. So reached out, and I am so glad that I did.
Well, I'm super thrilled that you did too, because as you can see, Wendy is a super, super lovely lady. She's just awesome to be around. You have a great energy. You really do.
Thank
you. Yes. And I was just, super honored that you reached out to me so that I could help you. Because we know that with our health, it's like life feels so much more doable, possible. We don't like to see things slumping around, and we can start to see the holes that start to happen in whether it's other parts of our health or in other places in our lives. And so, yeah, you've made a pretty quick turnaround. Not everybody does, but you definitely did. I was looking when we were scheduling this, I was looking to see when you told me, like, your phrase, you were like, the diarrhea is long gone. It's no longer here. And I was like, oh, okay, great. And so and then I checked like the next time we got together and it was the same. And I was like, okay, good. So it didn't take you long. It took you about a month and a half. And that doesn't always happen for everybody, but you did have kind of some experiences before me, like you said, a colonoscopy, but they found some Giardia, they found some other bacteria. Am I remembering?
Salmonella, not Giardia. The
Okay.
first doctor suspected Giardia, but they didn't show up in my system because I spent a lot of time in Colorado hiking and different adventures. So although I don't drink the stream water, but he said it can happen anyway. Yeah, I think I was just lucky that my whole pattern, I mentioned my daughter Drasana, who is also a holistic health practitioner. She practices TCM, traditional Chinese medicine, acupuncture. And so both my husband and I, our lives have really been about more preventive care than waiting for something big to happen. So we're both way past the 70 line or a little past the 70 line. And I think I'm just very fortunate that I can take advantage of this world of preventative health and early health care so that things never get too far out of line.
Which you look amazing for your age. I just can't get
Hmm.
over it. I was just telling Daniel that. I was like, I can't believe she's in her 70s. I mean, Wendy, seriously, put up a bicep. I'm serious. I'm serious. It's like, wow. Yeah, it's definitely about preventative care. And so if we can get as deep down to the root causes or as far upstream as possible or downstream as possible, and really get to all the really rich systems of the body and where everything is really rooted in, then you can have this really great effect. And you kind of, we do work in some direct ways, but there is a lot of like general ways that we're working because we're working on all parts of the body and all parts of health.
And I think that's the magic. And it's just what I really loved about your approach is that you have so much scientific understanding of the body system, which I think, the Western medical world is in a position to do that. They just don't choose to come at it that way. I had this experience with a friend. I don't know if I've mentioned this to you, but she had this rash on her body, and she is also very healthy. I mean, she has gone through breast cancer, so that was a challenge, but she kept saying, I want to know what's causing this rash, and had been to several doctors and nobody's answering. She asked me if I would go with her. To make a long story short, one doctor where we keep asking, he goes, well, I can give you this medication, I can put this thing on it. And I just said, stop. She's asking you what's causing this. And he just put his papers down and said, we're not trained to understand what's causing something. We're just trained to put a Band-Aid on it to make it, seemingly go away.
He actually said that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And he was as, I think, self-disgusted as we were, but he just said, we're not trained like that. I don't know how to help you. I hear the question. I don't know how to answer your question. And I think how sad, that they don't feel good about not giving the cure too, but why don't they, why isn't it this turnaround happening faster? We do hear of many more collaborations between traditional Western medicine and more holistic medicine, but not fast enough.
I know. That's a lot of what ends up getting talked about inside this group. And a lot of people, post about their experiences just like that. And I get other people when we're doing interviews like this, and they're saying the same thing. And I don't know if you ever got to see, but there is on here, I've worked with a couple of doctors as my clients. And I think it's amazing to see when we do these interviews and they share with everybody, they really start having a shift. And they even say it, when they go to school, their education is not reared and geared for this. They're
Yes.
just not. And so it has to be a huge paradigm shift that happens within the educational system, especially regarding a lot of things, but healthcare and doctors and what they're learning. I mean, they learn, I think, 4 hours of nutrition and what kind of nutrition. I mean,
That's crazy.
yeah. So yeah, I appreciate you sharing that. And I think a lot of people can resonate. Let us know in the comments if that's something that you've experienced. Hey, Annette, with doctors. So, well, what were some surprises that you've had along this journey? What was something like you didn't expect, whether it was something positive, something challenging, whatever it might have been?
Yeah, I think what's been challenging is because I'll preface this, because I've always felt like I've eaten quite healthily, etc. It's a challenge to really eat healthily.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think that was probably the most surprising thing. And it's still something that that I'm struggling to really do well, even well enough. I don't feel like I'm there yet. I got a text from one of my daughters yesterday, saying, like, are you near where they live? I live about, well, with traffic, maybe 45 minutes away. And I said, no, I'm at home. And they said, oh, I said, why? How are you doing? She goes, oh, I need a hug. And I said, oh, I sent virtual hugs, but that's the best I could do. And then she sent me this picture of this amazing meal she had made for herself that just looked so incredibly nutritious. And she said, I'm giving myself a hug with great food. And I thought that was just so beautiful, a perfect self-loving thing.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I think it's just, don't you think some of this has to do with just how our culture is wired about food? I always say to people, you don't need to feel bad about not going out to places to eat. You don't need to feel bad about not paying places because they're serving you toxic food. You don't, if we could just change this paradigm where when we went out to eat, we could know that the quality of ingredients are good for everybody. I mean, that would be something.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think we're lucky in San Diego, at least, that we do have more restaurants that are, becoming more overtly organic and food sensitivity sensitive. So that's encouraging. But yeah, you're right. Even the food we buy in the markets, as you've pointed out, it may be organic, but that doesn't really mean that it's necessarily so healthy.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So let's see. What do you feel like are your next steps or discoveries with your health? Because it's like, health is a journey, it's not a destination. And
Hmm.
so, what do
Totally.
you feel like are some things that you're continuing that you feel like are within reach for you that you want to do?
Um, Two things. I think continuing the food as medicine journey, because I do feel like that will be the rest of my life, a journey of constantly learning how to make better choices, how to prepare things better, more flavorful, more robust in terms of nutritional value. I think that's one of the things I'm looking forward to, figuring out when retirement is, so that I have more, because it does take time. It takes a lot of time, proper preparation and everything. So that, and then also, I'm excited to try the coffee enema, um,
Mhm.
and the parasite cleanse. I think those are the two things that are probably will be next for me.
Cool. Good.
Hmm.
I'm glad you use the word excited.
Well, if things aren't exciting, you're not likely to do them. So
That's right.
I
That's
try
right.
I try not to force myself to do anything that I'm not looking forward to, because I think energetically too, it doesn't work as well when some part of you is resisting it.
Yes.
So it's like I trust that I'll get to a space of excitement about whatever is good for me, and I think
Yeah.
I'm there for those two things.
Hey, awesome. Yeah, and I just if you're okay and comfortable with it, I just want to touch on, the jab. I have to be careful with my wording because Facebook sometimes will do weird things with my videos. But I think it's important to note because there are other people in this group that are experiencing something very similar as far as, they got it and then they started having some symptoms. And so whether it was diarrhea or other things. And
Hmm.
so I think it's really important for people to hear that. And I think it's important for, I would love for you to reflect on maybe the things that we've either found out or the things that you feel like you've been empowered to be able to do about it that may have surprised you because we don't have the capacity at this moment to fully like clear this thing out of the body. But we do have the capacity to support the body and do a continual detox of it so there is less of these spike proteins in the body. So I don't know, anything you want to share about that?
Well, I think it's unfortunate that we don't have more training about how to properly nourish our body so that we're not put in this very awkward position of feeling like there's a necessity to take certain vaccines or something. And like I've never gotten the flu vaccine before, or neither my husband or I are on any kind of prescriptives. I mean, basically we take supplements and vitamins and things more of that nature, and do try and treat food as medicine. But I get it for some people that are not healthy and really feel threatened by these things, physically threatened by these things. And if the training was better as we grew up about what food is really good, I think we would be in a much better environment. For one thing, I think people would have much more early recognized what pesticides and all these things were doing to our food, no less to our environment. I think that change is happening. At least here in California, we see more and more and more every store has an organics department, and more stores popping up that are pretty much all organic. I think like Jimbo's, I don't think they sell anything that isn't organic, or at least non-GMO, and there's very little of that. It's almost all organic. Yeah, so I hope that there comes, I guess, the political will to make more progress in this area, because it's not good.
Exactly. None of us should have to be put in that position. And, so yes, I appreciate you sharing that with me. What would you say to anybody who might be on the edge? Like they've been kind of like hanging out in here and they've got some things going on and they're like, should I do it? Should I not do it? Like, is this woman for real? Is she?
Oh, your program?
Yes.
Do it. Yeah.
Is Marl the weirdo or anything like that? And maybe you share with them, do you feel supported in the program, et cetera, et cetera?
Absolutely supported. And I would have to say, if there's I don't know, call it it's not a regret, but I wish that I was better educated so that I could better take advantage of all of the information that you have about how different things interact with each other. And, what were we talking about yesterday? Things that break things down and other things that move them out. And so totally don't. If you have the means to do this, and again, you can put your energy in a place where you go, hey, this is, I'm ready for this. She is a wealth of knowledge and understanding, and also the testing that you have discovered and made available that so strategically pinpoints down to where the problems are. That I think that was really, really helpful for me, and it would be for anybody.
Thank you. Yeah, I have to say that testing and not guessing is really critical. And also that, sometimes when we're learning things, I'm sure we've all experienced this, that sometimes there's like all this new stuff that's happening. And the understanding sometimes just comes with time. Like it's still there in front of you. You can read up on it anytime. You can come back to it. You can always ask more questions. And I find that that's the case for not all, but quite a lot of clients, because there's there isn't like an anatomy teaching that kind of goes on with this course in a weird, or this program in a weird kind of way. And so it comes in layers, and I think as we do, as we take on like a new health task that we're taking care of in the body, the understanding kind of goes with it, because there's something palpable, it puts something kinesthetic with something that kind of feels philosophical, or like an educational study, if you will. So
Right.
I think that's pretty normal and understood.
No, I really appreciate it. And I'm sure I'll go back and use the session notes a lot too, to go, oh, okay, yeah, now I'm understanding that better.
Exactly. And that's what those are there for. So Wendy's referring to when we get together and we do sessions, whether we review labs or we're just working on lifestyle things, whether it's diet or rest or whatever, and we're using tools to help improve these things, whether it's getting into the sunlight within 20 minutes of waking, or a certain supplement or whatever. I write out all these notes, and I try to be diligent and clear about the notes so that they actually make sense. And they're like a journal for your health and for your learning. And so when you go through the program, they're always accessible for you. And I leave them there for forever so you can have them.
Perfect. Yeah, I was wondering, will I have access to those?
You will. You will. Is there anything else that you want to share with everybody that you think important, or that maybe you haven't gotten to share?
Oh, I can't think of anything, but honestly, if anybody ever has any questions, I'm happy for Meryl to share my information with you, to reach out directly.
Oh, thank you. That's super sweet. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Wendy is a business owner too, so she's super busy.
Unfortunately, at least for a while.
She's a busy lady, but she does some pretty neat things. And, she has been able to go through the program and get really good results. So that says a lot. You don't have to be perfect to get better. You just have to make some steps and things start to happen.
Yeah. Meryl is a great booster to your efforts to get moving on a healthier path. So please take advantage of her.
Thank you.
Abuse her.
Don't abuse me. I'm wishing you a wonderful Thanksgiving. I'm wishing all the rest of you within our group a wonderful Thanksgiving. I hope you guys all have a very nourishing holiday. You're surrounded by a lot of really good energy. I hope it's food that makes you feel good. And I won't be doing a live next week, but I will be the following week. And yeah, Wendy, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.